Hi everyone. Welcome to this live Socratic dialogue on technological models. How do you think an organization makes a technological advancement? Do you think it could be because of their automation, because of what we call artificial intelligence now? Or is there some other underlying business concept that connects all these dots? That's the business concept, the framework that we will be discussing in this Socratic dialogue. So today, our budding leaders are going to talk about technological models and how they can use these technological models to improve their business and solve real world problems. So let's first start with the introductions. Who would like to take the initiative of introducing themselves?
You can go ahead first. So, hello everyone. My name is Harshvardhan. I'm part of Team Friedman, and hoping to enlighten you with our technological model that we have come up with. And yeah, my members are Gaurav and Anshul. They can also introduce me.
Thanks, Source. Yeah. Hi, guys. Hi, everyone. My name is Gaurav Daha. I'm a fellow data scientist in Deep Thought. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I'm Anshul Nishant. I am currently working in Unique Biotech Limited as a data scientist. Thank you.
I completely forgot to mention, sorry about that. I work at Deep Thought and I'm a UX designer.
Thank you, Harsh. Would the other team also like to introduce themselves?
Yeah, sure. Hinglaj here. I'm working for Deep Thought and I'm working as a growth hacker.
Hello everyone, I'm Fartin and I'm a software developer at Deep Thought and also I'm a team leader here.
Okay, I'm Vinay Kumar and I'm working as a developer in JSMS.
And hi everyone, myself Shawan. So I am a software developer at Deep Thought and also I'm leading a team, right? And I'll be co-moding this discussion.
Thank you, guys. And hi everyone, I'm Samida. I'm a psychologist at Deep Thought. We try to find ways to improve learning and development so that all teams and people are becoming more self-managed. And today with us, we have a very interesting jury member who is also working with different technologies and can bring really interesting insights from the company. So, sir, would you please like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you, everyone. My name is Hasnain Rizvi Rahman. I'm an entrepreneur, business owner, and technologist. I run a few companies. One of my main companies is called Asta IT. It's a global tech company, tech service providing company, headquartered in the US, but we have offshore development centers in different parts of the world. I have been running that company for 15 years. Besides that, we have some other few ventures like an ed tech company, an HR tech company, and also recently we launched a talent marketplace. I am very happy to join this session with you. I'm actually excited to learn from you guys as well. It's not I'm jurying or anything. I want to see what you guys share and learn from you guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Looking forward to the two-way conversations and insights involved in this dialogue. All right. So very interesting names, I think, we have for the teams. Would any of the teams like to explain why they named themselves this?
I'll take the initiative again. So we were thinking of our team name, and one kind of sort of ritual we have at Deep Thought is that we like to look at different thought leaders and different leaders around different topics. And we were looking up at data science and the name William S. Cleveland came up. And he has done a lot for data science. He has made a lot of technological analysis models. So after discussing with my team, we thought that, we would honor his name and we put that as a team name.
Very interesting, Harshvardhan and Team Cleveland. Thank you for going forward. How about Tech Titans?
So our team name is Tech Titans, and Titans are known for their immense strength, right? And this is what we are bringing with our technology: strength of mindset, strength of growth through our technology. That's why we named ourselves Tech Titans.
Thank you so much, Hinglaj. And thank you for both the teams for going ahead and explaining your names. So now I think we can start with the pitches. So which of the teams would like to take the initiative of pitching first?
We can go ahead.
Sure, Team Tech Titans.
Yes, Vinay.
Yeah, thank you for them for sharing the screen. Okay. So thank you for them for sharing the screen. And so here is our pitch, and here is the problem statement for our technological model. And so the problem statement is, so yeah, so according to this Gallup's report, see, around $7.8 trillion are lost due to the lack of productivity in the employees because of they are not engaged, right? So this is our problem statement, and so our solution is so go to the next slide. Pardon. So what we are doing is we came up with this rigor builder. So what does it does is it allows us to um, give a statement. Um, it allows us to give a reason for your statement. So uh, so so this creates more engagement and more curious to the employees, so that they will be become more productivity, um, more productivity. So this is about this slide. So next.
You're on mute, Hinglaj.
Thank you. So our second problem statement is that 90% of top performance are high in emotional intelligence, right? But while only 20% of bottom performance are high in emotional intelligence. Like when we say that, think big, right? Why a CEO is a different from an employee? Because they think big. They think 10 steps ahead when they are taking decisions. People can see that, okay, he's just taking decisions, but they are not able to see the bigger picture, that why this decision has been taken. So this is the problem statement, that people are not that emotional intelligence, right? But how to make them think, see that bigger picture. So the solution we came up is the DT maturity builder. So DT maturity builder is helping people to nudge instead of judging them. So if we understand the psychology and behavior, we can lead people to with great guidance. And great leaders develop such behavioral acumen after several decades. That whenever there are great leaders, they will have this behavior after 5 to 6 years. Like how CEO get their experience after span of time, but how to start think like one leader from the day one. Right. So this is how mature builder is helping. So in the maturity builder, when we put that when we put up a statement that, okay, I suppose, for example, that I I was not on, I didn't reach college at time. So why didn't I reach college at time? What is the root cause of it? Might be because of my sleeping habits, or my not a good not a great
Sorry to
behavior.
interrupt, Team Tech Titans. I just wanted to quickly mention to go over the slides quickly, right? We just want to introduce people to the idea, and then we can understand it in depth during the questioning.
Sure. So I think this is all for the brief introduction. This is all for the majority builder. Yeah.
Yeah, and for the characteristics, we have this characteristics of 200 structure and triple structure characters. So what will happen is when we put this 200 characters, people will not go on tangent. So the reason or the root behaviors that we saw, they will not go on tangent. So if I say that you have to compose it inside 200 characters, so you will be more precise. And then the technological model. Our technological model is based on this AI model and triple structure. So with AI model, we can get verification and get more insights of the reasons that we are doing, and triple structure will give us will guide us through the process, like what, how, and I mean what, why, and how. So yeah, our future vision is to make it as a standalone software and integrate with make it integration with work with other note taking tools also, so that anyone with any note taking tool can use our product. So yeah, that was our technology and technological model, so that people are more engaged to their work. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Team Tech Titans. Just quickly wanted to mention, right, this is a dialogue on technological models, so there will be a lot of technology related terminology, or you guys, some of you might be mentioning things that are like only people at Deep Thought might be aware of, because that's part of the procedure. So please make sure that you're defining those terms so that everyone is able to understand them clearly. For those who are watching, tangents is just something that's going away from the topic, right? So if Inglads says we are having a dialogue on technological models, but Fardeen starts talking about emotional intelligence, that might not be directly related, so it might be on a tangent. So just make sure, guys, that you keep mentioning whatever terms you're using and explaining them. So yeah, would the other team like to go ahead with the questions? Team Cleveland, any questions? Yeah.
So the problem statement, you're focusing your product on problem statement 1. So to be specific, like you mentioned that emotional intelligence, right? Like 90% are high in emotional intelligence, 20% are bottom. So like, yeah, same question, like what are the specific factors that you're considering that contributes to the lack of this employee productivity, right? Or lack of engagement? What are the specific factors that you're considering?
What are the specific factors you consider to understand who is emotionally intelligent and who is not? Is that your question, Gaurav?
Yes, because that is the main. Okay, please ask.
Tech Titans, would you like to go ahead with your answer? Hinglaj, you're on mute.
Can you please come up with the question again? Sorry.
Gaurav, could you maybe explain the question a bit more clearly? What do you mean by factors exactly?
Yes, like the factors that are contributing to the lack of employee productivity or lack of engagement.
Sorry, how is that related to technological models, Gaurav?
Like because the Rigo Builder, they're creating the Rigo Builder itself on the very basis of they're trying to solve this based on what, like sorry. So
Okay.
You mean based on some assumptions, right, Gaurav?
Yes, like Rigo Builder is there, like people, you building Rigo Builder to come up with
all
reasons.
right. I'd like to maybe reframe and you can tell me if it's right. How do you know that this maturity builder and rigor builder can help you with emotional intelligence?
Yes.
Is that kind of?
Yes, exactly.
So we know that the rigor builder and the maturity builder is working because with the rigor builder we have seen people, like we have the data, that the transformation data we have, that how people have transformed. Before, they were not able to question that much themselves, that why this is happening, what is the purpose of this thing. And the selective attention, the listening skills, that thing that has been improved. We have the data. And another, the maturity builder. Before when before, when a person, like when a meeting is happening, and when the leader or the manager is taking a decisions, now we know that what is the reason behind it, because with the help of maturity builder we have the data, right, to see that okay, these things are working. That's why we are also making them as an individual models. We are taking them as an individual models.
So there is like a correlation or some kind of cause. You can see that, okay, when people are using rigor builder or maturity builder, it's helping them with their like being more emotionally mature in their workplace.
Yes, we did survey. We are having the thread counts. We can see the number of maturity builder, the number of thread builder. We can see, and the things and the result is can be seen in their work as well.
Right. So when we are using their product thread builder, people are typing, right, and there are threads that pop up when they type something. So all those threads help them see who is interacting with the product and what are the results of it. All right. Any follow-ups from Team Cleveland?
So just follow up, like, okay, so you're saying that this rigor builder is able to measure the level of engagement and curiosity.
Yeah, because when you if you see, we do have a set of the rigor builder. We have a set of questions that the thread of the chain of questions. We have the follow up. It is visible to everyone. If someone is asking a question to one statement, and when someone is suppose I'm there is a statement, I'm asking that statement that why this is happening, I'm again reasoning it. So the number of reasons which I'm doing, it's again and again. For example, let me take this thing an example. Before that, I never came up with this thing that suppose we are working on a UI UX designer, right? And the team leader came up with that, okay, we have to use a blue color in that UI UX design, but no one asked that why you are using that blue
All
color.
right, Hinglaj, I think we were clear on that aspect, right? You covered it while you were explaining the reason for it. So can we please keep our questions more around technological models? So I have a question for Tech Titans. What is the technological model on which you are basing all these products?
So that is a threefold structure and our AI model.
Could you explain that a bit more?
Okay, so the threefold structure for the rigor builder, that is statement, reason, and rigor. So what is the statement that you are trying to find a solution? So as Hinglaj was saying, that team lead said to use blue colors, and then we have the reason. What is the reason behind the statement, and the rigor? What is the reason behind the reason? And same for our maturity builder, our incident, good behavior, then nudge. And for our AI model, that will help us with all the things that's happening in the product.
Okay, interesting. Any follow-ups from Team Cleveland?
Yeah, I wasn't clear on the AI part. So the C4 structure I'm able to understand, but how will AI help you?
So AI will help us to make us more precise. So we can reason anything, right? If I say that sky is blue, I can reason anything on it, but it has to be correct to improve, right? If we want to improve, it has to be precise, right? Why why is it happening? The actual reason. We can put many other reasons, right? Another thing, it will also help us to find other potential reasons also. So the sky is blue, suppose for some reason, and the AI will help us more other reasons that this might be another reason you might consider.
Harsh, does that answer your question?
It does.
But that
I'm
raises
just
more
thinking-
question, right? Like,
Yeah, go ahead.
how will what AI model will you be using? There's many AI models, and how would it like come up with this? How would it analyze those rigors? And what would it output?
Exactly. One question I would like to attach with that as well. Since we are through this rigor builder, you're trying to push people to reason, right? To question. How would you make sure that this does not end up discouraging them to question?
I have another follow-up. Like, why do you think like this will make them discouraged?
So my thought process is it can go to the way that you guys are mentioning, how it,
Yes, exactly.
people
Like
want to
also,
push themselves more, find the right answer. But at the same time, every time they ask question, they might get something. Don't look at it this way. Look at it that way.
Sorry, Harsh, how is this exactly related to technological model?
It's about the AI model that they're using. Like, will it actually help or will it not help?
So when we search something in Google, it gives us a solution, and if we make any mistake, it shows us that you made a mistake, you might change it. I mean, did you mean that? So our AI model would be like that. Like, you wrote this, it's fine, but did you mean that thing? Or did you consider those things? Something like that.
So my point is that exactly right. What if I write a question that I consider this, but the AI suggests me that, did you mean that? Now I'm discouraged from answering that first question itself.
I would argue that it is not discouragement. Like, if you put something wrong in your search engine, I mean, at least I am not getting discouraged that I've made some mistake. Spelling mistake.
Right, but this is not a search engine, right? This is a place where we're asking questions about a certain topic, but they're broad. They're not like specific things we're searching up on Google.
Okay, but see, it's like, so suppose let's take the example of the sky is blue, and I wrote the sky is blue because there is a big blue ball over our head. That's why it's blue. That's not right. So I will analyze that it's totally false, 100% false. So let's suggest something else.
Okay, I get it.
Also, like your AI model will be verifying the reverse, isn't that? Like, what will your AI specifically do? Will it like give suggestions? Will it like verify what's being written? So there are so many things that can be done, right? With AI implementation itself. So what is the specific thing? Or like, yeah, can you just, what's the output going to be using AI?
Okay, it will. I mean, it will give us suggestions like what. I mean, if I made any mistake, he will try to solve it and I mean give me solutions, and he can also suggest me some other. I mean, other kind of thing. Like, did you think about that? Like, why do we see? I don't know, even like different color on different time? I mean, we can also suggest those questions. Right? Did you think about that? You know.
Also verifies your reasons.
Yes. The issue with that is like the ongoing issue with that is like with that technology itself is like you're trying to implement that thing, and it to some extent it's not applicable because people have different type of English, like different English skill, and AI suppose some people can work efficiently, but they are not able to articulate those things, right? Your AI will still be assessing those text in textual format, right?
Of basically like how is their AI going to be more inclusive of different types of responses? Is that kind of a question?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so see, Gaurav, have you used like you have used Chat GPT, right?
Yes.
Right. So when you will put some lines, when you put your query, chat, and you use a prompt that, right? Is it right or wrong or whatever prompt you use? But in our rigor builder, the prompts will be there. What is going to happen when you will put your question, options will be there, that do you mean this, so that it's easier whatever you write, it will be easier for you to try to understand exactly what you're trying to say. You have options so that you are not going on tangent. That is basically the purpose.
Okay, so
And
okay, this is the new part, right? Like your rigor builder will have prompt as well now.
not
So it's
prompts,
we'll
the
be
did you
providing
mean,
with prompts.
yeah, the options.
Okay, so that will be done by AI.
Yes.
Okay, so okay, that can help.
All right, so we'll stop with the team's round of questioning. Sir, would you like to go ahead with any questions? You're on mute, sir.
Sorry. Well, Team Tech Titans, great job. Very interesting. The first problem statement that you shared on your slide was something that I learned from you. So like 9 trillion or 7 trillion USD is lost for the lack of productivity when employees are not engaged. So it's an interesting problem statement. That's a good part. As a neutral viewer of your presentation, I have a few observations and feedback for you. So that's the problem, increasing productivity, reducing the lack of productivity. Then you brought up something related with emotional intelligence. So that correlation was not very well defined. So the main problem that you are trying to solve here is the increase of productivity or removing the lack of productivity. How emotional intelligence is related with that problem statement, that was not very well defined. That's number one. But I get that later from your presentation part that you are trying to increase engagement, which involves emotional intelligence, and that's how it's correlated. Okay. By the way, I like the statement that help in nudging instead of judging. So I'm just nudging and not judging you. There are a few modules that you described, like rigor builder, maturity builder. And I entirely do not agree with this rigor builder thing. I have a personal opinion that any employees who are forced to follow certain rules often lack the critical thinking ability. I mean, of course, rules are helpful. All the companies have rules, but when they feel forced and obligated to follow rules, my experience tells me that they lack innovation and creativity. So I entirely I'm not sure whether rigor builder will help. Maturity builder will, of course. So that's a good thing.
Maybe like the team could kind of try to clarify how rigor builder is playing a role.
Sure.
So let me just take in like after any meeting we have MOM, right? Minutes of the meeting, right? And suppose it's a 30 minutes of meeting, 20 minutes you are having a discussion in the meeting, and 5 minutes you ask your team members that if you want to go, you can use the rigor builder and think about all the questions that what has happened in the meeting. It's a normal discussion. You are just thinking and noting down the points. And in the later 5 minutes, you are asking that, okay, if there is any, question or anything, if you want to ask regarding meetings, regarding the KPIs, you can ask. So what is happening? Like just taking forward this example. For example, that there is a UI UX development. You say that, okay, the UI UX development will take the blue color as a base color. For example, if we take Facebook's, blue color, no one asked that, that in the team, in the group, the designer didn't ask that why even we are using the blue color. So suppose if we are making UX design for Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg is colorblind, right? So that's why he prefers blue, not red or green color in his website. So what is happening that if the UX designer come up with a red or green, it's a rework. They spend a lot of energy and bandwidth on the red and green color, which is not even useful. So with the help of rigor builder, it's not forced. It's just it helps you to ask a lot of questions, which in the meeting we think that, okay, we get everything. But when you are going through all these things, what happens normally when after a meeting, the employee will come to you back to again, sir, this is what you want to us to do? Then you give them that, array, I already told you in the meeting, you are again coming back to me. Then after 30 minutes, 1 hour, or even a day after doing 20% of the job, they're again coming back to you that, okay, sir, is this right? And you're again saying that, okay. So we have already discussed why you are coming back to me again and again. This is happening because you didn't give 5 minutes of questioning that whole meeting process, that what is the purpose, why we are doing this. And that's how, the rework is happening, and that's how the money is getting waste, because engagement is not there. People are not putting attention. Yeah.
That's a very good clarification. Yes, thank you, Hinglaj. I appreciate that. Then moving on to your technological models, Fardeen explained a few things actually. So first one was 200 character limit. I don't know if that's very important or relevant. I mean, that's a very minor feature. I mean, this is going to be a very big solution if it were real, you know. If it were real, there'd be many more parameters and factors. 200 characters limitation, I don't know if that's a very important thing to discuss. So let's keep that aside. But for the AI model, I have a question for you guys, for Tech Titan team. So any AI model requires training. Without the training, it's not AI, it's heuristics. How would you train this AI? Where would you get the data for this AI to be effective?
Okay, first thing, this rigor builder is online. Like we use it inside GT community. So and for the 200 character thing, so we are limiting it to 200 characters so that people don't go on tangent. So I have a statement, or is like Hiller said that using blue color in Facebook, everywhere in Facebook. So the reason could be that because like their CEO Mark Zuckerberg is colorblind. This is one simple reason I gave, but I can make it bigger. Like people can make it big, 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 very big, but not go on the actual reason. So by putting the 200 character, and we are just making it precise. Like whatever you write, you have to make it precise so that they don't go in tangents. And for the AI model training, as of now, we did not implement it. I mean, the AI model in our rigor builder. So we have so much data currently. So with the data, I think we can train that.
Okay. Yeah, but in real life, when you build a real AI system, in order for it to be accurate and efficient, it needs a lot of data. For example, this chat GPT that we're blessed with, right? It has been trained for last 5 years or so. So that's why it's so magical. It has been trained with a tremendous amount of data, everything there is on the net, right? Anyway, yeah, okay, I understand that it's a fun thing. I mean, this is very good that we are encouraging all of us to think and come up with solutions. We don't have to be very picky about all those details, but yeah, it's a nice thing. Thank you. I don't have any other questions.
All right. I think, thank you, sir, for your questions. I think Tech Titans could like quickly just clarify what is the exact role of AI and why it could be limiting, like sir mentioned.
They did actually. I mean, I got their answer, no problem. It's just that in reality, it will be very hard to build.
All right. Thank you, sir. There are no questions from the audience yet. Okay, there are. The first question for Team Tech Titans is, how will the rigor builder help us to measure the level of curiosity?
I guess by using more and more, like if you use it more, I mean, on various topics, by that we can understand that, yeah, this person is very curious on different topics.
All right. Thank you, Fadil. Okay. I think since we're also short on time, we can stop with this round. So, sir, would you like to go to the jury room for 5-10 minutes so that you can score the teams? And in the meantime, we can go with the team reflections. So, Shavan, could you take over for reflections? Sir, let's move to jury room.
Okay. So who would like to go ahead with the reflection on the first round?
Should I click on the leave button?
No, sir. There's breakout rooms option. Okay. Shavan,
I'll
could you?
assign you. Yeah, no worries.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm assigned to room 1. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, you can go ahead with the reflections, guys. Who would like to go first?
Yeah, I'll go with reflection.
Sure. Anshul.
Yeah, the problem statement by Tech Titan was, yeah, they have told that majority of employees are not getting engaged, which are having to some trillions of dollars getting lost. So this is based on facts, and yeah, and the AI model that they have made, it's on rigor, and that is the rigor itself has the uh, characteristics to make the people engaged in the work they do and think why they are doing with the questions they are having. So that was the takeaway for me. And also the evaluation that you have made, like 90% of the top people who are better performers compared to bottom 20, which are only 20% which are having emotional intelligence. So how will we make the remaining people into the list of 90%? And yeah, uh, with the questions and curiosities and AI suggestion, making you realize that things can happen in that way also. That was the takeaway for me. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Anshul. So yeah, who would like to go in next?
Yeah, I can go ahead.
Yeah, sure, Gaurav. Please go ahead.
Yes. So yeah, very informative session, presentation by Team Tech Titans. So yeah, I was able to understand the features and strategies employed by the product Rigor Builder itself, right? And how it's trying to create and come up with more
Sorry to
ways
interrupt.
to.
Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, Gaurav, can you please go ahead with the specifics, right? Like I know you get a
Mm.
lot of things, but can you be more
Mm.
specific of what you have understood? Yeah.
Yeah, like how they're trying to implement this AI to come up with like how they are trying to assess the rigors that has been created by employees using the AI model itself, and how they are trying to use this factors to increase the engagement of employees based with this rigor builder. So yeah, it was very informative and very interesting one. Thank you.
I still see a lack of specifics, but it's fine. No worries. Yeah. Sure. Thanks, Gaurav. Yeah. Who would like to go in next? Yeah,
Go ahead.
sure, English.
So, during this, I came to know that, okay, the specifics will be like we need to see very, uh, be specific with whatever we are sharing. At the one insight will be, let's be specific on the PPT data what we are sharing and the numbers. That is the one insight for me.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, English. Yeah. Who would like to go in next? Yes, Vinay.
I will go next. So the insight that I gained is training a AI is not as easy as you think it is. So it requires a lot of data. Yeah. So that's the insight that I got.
And okay, thanks, Vinay. But I think see, training AI is I mean it's difficult as you mentioned, but I hope you also spotted the reason, right? Like as we are talking about rigor builder, it's all about reasoning. So I hope you also have spotted the reason of why he mentioned about that. Yeah, thanks, Vinay, for sharing that. So yeah, anyone who would like to go in next? Anyone? Any reflections you want to share? No one? Okay, no worries. Yeah, we're done with the reflections.
Right on time. All right. So, okay, great. So has scored for the first team. So would the next team like to go ahead with the pitch? Team Cleveland.
Sure.
Hello, everyone. We are Team Cleveland, and we're here to tell you about the technological model we have come up with. So Anshul, if you could go to the right. So what we've done is we had this whole problem statement that we divide into three parts. What we're trying to do is basically help out policymakers. We've realized that nowadays policies being created end up missing out on a few things, missing on a few characteristics that end up creating policies that don't include certain individuals, that don't last very long, or as you can see in problem statement one, end up being affected by confirmation bias, right? So what confirmation bias is basically you see a sort of evidence and you correlate it to your policy or your theory that you've come up with or your idea, right? And you connect it in a way that just makes it appear that okay, I am right. Right. So how we're going to tackle this is as an organization, we are going to optimize the data that we're collecting. We're going to process it, collect it, analyze it as resourcefully as possible. Right. So the second part of the problem, as I mentioned before, is exclusion, right? Sometimes policymakers end up excluding different sources of information that could be important for including people. Whether it could be any organization or even a governmental body that makes policies, where they make the policies aimed towards a certain set of people, but the source of information they get doesn't even cover that sort of group of people, right? So what we're going to end up using is exploratory data analysis to make sure that we recognize the hidden patterns and anomalies in the data that we collect, so as to make sure that it connects properly. And the third sort of problem statement that we found was that decisions made tend to be more towards short-term goals and not future-proof. So to tackle that, Anshul, if you could go to the next slide, we will be providing them reports based on different analysis. So depending on the data that we have collected and the data that will be correlated to the policy that the policymakers trying to create, we would either use descriptive analysis, EDA, predictive analysis, or inferential analysis. Now, how we're going to go forward with that and the characteristics, Gaurav will explain.
Thank you, Hers. Yes. So yeah, we will be going through all this statistical inference, right? We'll be doing this descriptive statistics. We'll be going through descriptive statistics, which deals with all those ranges and how the data has been distribution, and inferential statistics will be coming out with all those predictive or probabilistic analysis, and will be inferring to the populations. And for the problem statement, the solution for the characteristics of the solution would be, like as Hers already mentioned, it would be exploratory data analysis, which will help us find the hidden patterns and trends, which is not seen. So we'll be using those things, and we'll be providing with this prescriptive and predictive reports based on that EDA. And for the problem statement 3, and the solution has this characteristics of like being timely, relevant, and iterative data analyzing process. So we'll be pre-processing the data, standardization process, normalization process, all those things. We'll also like describe it later in the discussion about these things. So this will all be timely and relevant. So yes, as Hers have already mentioned, like our technology model will be sourcing data from different organizations. Like suppose, for example, World Bank, ADB, Asian Development Bank, IMF, all those things, or even like local think tanks, statistical bureaus, anything, will be sourcing data from them and will be pre-processing as required, and will try to analyze the data to identify their hidden patterns and trends. And based on that exploratory data analysis, once we recognize those patterns and the trends and hidden anomalies or anything, we will be coming out with the model which is required. Either it be AI model, either it be deep learning model, either it be simple machine learning models. So, and the use cases would be like our final output would be providing reports to policymakers, either it be governments, or the like even for the international agencies like World Bank, ADBI, IMF, or even like local partners or NGOs, INGOs. So we'll be providing these policies and reports to those policymakers. So yeah, that would be our use case. And I would request Hers to conclude this presentation.
So as Gaurav mentioned, we basically want to help out the policymakers evade those 3 problem statements we came up with. Evade confirmation bias, evade any sort of exclusion of resources or sources of data, and last but not least, basically, sorry, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, basically help our policymakers as much as possible, and by using data science. Hopefully, you guys have some interesting questions for us.
All right. Thank you, Team Cleveland. Would the Team Tech Titans like to ask any questions?
Yeah, I'd love to go ahead. So, do you have any kind of data for the confirmation bias?
Is there any data for confirmation bias? Team Cleveland?
So we
Yeah, Gaurav, you're
okay. So there's no that data that directly points out the confirmation bias, but what there's no specific data, but there are series of data that comes with like which excludes minorities, which excludes a different population group. Okay, so that's why we're coming up with this confirmation bias. This is a term that is we have been mentioning this by ourselves. There's no specific term as confirmation bias.
So basically, I think what Gaurav is trying to mention is why does confirmation bias occur? Usually it happens because we get a piece of information, a piece of, in this case, data, right? And we correlate it to our problem, right? Now, when you say it out loud, it might make sense, but does it actually make sense? By collecting data from all sources that is related to that policy, right? Let's say the policy is only about for a local town. It affects only that town. We would try to get all the data correlated to that policy and to that town, and cross-reference and analyze and make reports. So as to make sure that that one piece of information that
Sorry, Harsh, how is this answering the question of
basically what was supposed to cause confirmation bias is not the only thing that's being looked at.
no, but Fardeen's question was like, how do you know it's a confirmation bias, right, Fardeen?
Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're making sure all sets of data is considered, not just one.
Sure, but there is this assumption, right, in your product that these policymakers are having a confirmation bias. They they are implementing something only based on what they think is right, and they're using data to prove that what they know is right.
No,
That's what confirmation
we're
bias.
saying that we will prove So we will use data to make sure that to verify. We're not saying they're completely wrong. We're saying it happens, and we're going to make sure that it's verified.
Fardeen, does that answer your question?
So you are telling that you will help them make better decisions
Yes.
with more data.
Yeah, we're basically consulting them. We are never going to tell do this or do that.
So what happens is like we still like, okay, the report has been published, right? For example, but we still have the data that they worked on, and we can rework on those data, historic data, and then we can come up with, and then we can see for ourselves, right? What was the gap? So that is how we can confirm there's a gap or not. Okay. So that's how we can like come up with, okay, there has been a, that would be like our data driven.
So the reports also help you clarify whether
Yes,
they got-
exactly. We can just like,
Sure, makes
yeah.
sense. Any other questions, any follow-ups, Team Tech Titans? Okay, so I'll just ask a quick, Hingresh, did you have a question?
Yeah, please go ahead.
All right, my question was, why is this whole, framework, how is it a technological model?
Okay, so basically what we're doing is like, this is, the whole model is based on data science itself. Okay. So what we're doing, for example, what we're doing is like, to simply talk about our tech model, it's sourcing data, processing it, analyzing it, and figuring out the patterns and coming up with the models. Either it be, like I told you before, either it be simple data visualization, ML models, deep learning models, AI models. So this is all included. So that's why this is a tech model in itself.
Okay, so is there, like, could you explain what is the specific framework behind it?
So the framework would be, framework as in, like, can you elaborate your question?
Like for you mentioned all these technologies, right? That okay, or you have this problem, and all these technologies are helping you solve that problem. So, what is the exact framework that helps you recognize that okay, these are the problems, and this is how we can go about solving them? So you mentioned something related to data science, right? Could you elaborate more on how that acts as a framework? Did that question make sense?
I'll be honest, I'm still a little confused.
So you guys mentioned that your whole product or service is going to work on data science, right? So
Yes.
I am asking that, okay, you guys have data science and you have all these outputs or these technologies that are helping you deliver the output. So what is the framework you're using with data science that is helping you come up with these technologies? Is that a
Yes, she means, do you have any algorithm or any set of rules that you are basing your solution on?
So if that's the question, like our algorithm, we have, so that depends on how the EDA process goes, right? So we're planning to perform EDA first. There are different sets of data provided by different organizations. So we'll be providing with this EDA process, and then we'll be trying to understand what the data lies, what's the behavior of data. And based on that pattern, we'll be coming up with this model. We'll be creating our algorithm. And we'll be coming up with models. That is what model itself is. So we are not just first creating the model. We are trying to understand how the data is behaving, what are the patterns of data. And based on that, then we'll be creating the model that can like justify the data that we'll be inserting it as an input and come up with the output.
all
So
right,
does
yeah.
that answer the question?
That does kind of. Okay, just to follow up, right? Are there any, and thank you, sir, for clarifying the question. Are there any specific metrics that are helping you understand how to utilize the data?
Yeah, like I told you, like we are like metrics, as in we are doing this descriptive statistics and inferential statistics, right? So those are the, like inside the descriptive statistics, we have like like measure of central trend, like so many things, right? dispersion, central tendency. Those are like mathematical terms, but we will be looking at the distribution of the data first. Okay, like how it's distributed, or like population itself, right? Population distribution, demographics, and behavioral patterns, right? Those things. And next one we'll be using as inferential statistics. Under it lies like so many those tests, probabilistic test, will be hypothesis test, those things. So that would be for predictive analysis as well. So yeah, these will be the matrices that we'll be implementing.
All right. So all of these are with the purpose of making more informed decisions.
Yes, it's all about exploring the data. Like, yeah, all about exploring the data.
Okay, that's kind of also part of the framework, this whole exploration.
Yes.
All right. Thank you for breaking it down, Gaurav. Any other questions for from Team Tech Titans?
So in your technological solution number 2, you said exploratory data analysis for recognizing hidden patterns. So can you tell me what is this hidden pattern?
Okay, so hidden pattern is like normally what happens is like whenever we exploratory data analysis is like exploring the data. So simply you can understand it as a simple exploring the data, right? Data itself is number, it's useless, meaningless, right? When you explore it, when you make it a pattern, then it makes sense, right? So when we go through that, normally what happens is like the police, like traditionally what happens is like they tend to take out the anomalies being like outliers, something which is not recognized as important, right? If like for example there is a major population where like A is like majority, okay, and like B is like 10 people, and you take a sample of 100 people, and then there can be the voice of B one, or there can be null, right? So those are the, but the B becomes the hidden pattern, right? B becomes the anomaly. So for example, just I'm giving an example. So
How are
yeah,
you ensure? Okay, please finish the answer. Yeah.
yeah, and so yeah, those data are still present. So those data that is one part. Okay, just I'm explaining one part. So that those will be handled properly as it should be. So there are many processes. So with that, and another part, for example, can be like there's thousands of features, right? For a single thing, there are so many factors that affects a single thing, right? So some we are also doing pre-processing, standardization process, and this feature engineering, coming up with new features among several features. There are so many things that when performed, right, to find this underlying hidden patterns, like what is it, because correlation is just finding out what affects, right? It's not causation. Like, okay, so
Sorry, Gaurav, I think that went a little too
yeah,
into.
sorry about that. Yeah.
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 If any of the other Team Cleveland members would like to explain it a bit more simply, maybe take it up with a case.
I like to.
Please go ahead, Anshu.
Like how the problem statement itself says that there is a confirmation bias. This mostly exists in the real life, our real world we see around. There is decision is faster than looking in the problem. So here the thing is our model will make the things aligned by taking the data and making it cohort to the solution that we are looking for. And for this, we have been used the tools that Gaurav mentioned, like descriptive analysis, inferential statistics, and that feature engineering, that part, along with some tools like dimensional reduction, that will help us to take out the exact what is the driver of the problem, that we'll come to that driver and attend that instead of looking in here like looking at something else. I hope this answers the question.
All right. Could someone quickly clarify what feature engineering is?
So should I?
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Yeah, like, yeah, there are so many factors, right? Features as in there are so many factors that affect a single thing, right? So we can either join those factors as one, or we can like uh, even like break down the single factor in many other factors, right? So yeah, just manipulating and like doing some modification over those factors is called feature engineering. So
Got it.
that would help us find hidden patterns, anomalies, and those stuff.
Right. Thank you for explaining, Gaurav. Okay, sir, would you like to ask any questions to the team? You're on mute.
Sorry. Team Cleveland, awesome. Great job. First observation is the members of Team Cleveland are very techy. I mean, they have used so many tech jargons. I mean, this tells me that they're from data science and AI, so lots of tech jargons. You mentioned of 3 problem statements. One is confirmation bias while making policy. It's a real problem. I mean, confirmation bias is real. Everyone suffers from it to some extent, so it's a good problem to tackle. Although I am entirely not clear, I mean, I understood your concept really well. So you will get the data from organizations, and then you will analyze the data, and you will use those data to solve confirmation bias. This is okay. But what I don't understand is, why will the organizations give you data in the first place? That's number one question. I mean, these are very scenario specific data, right? Let's say I want to take a decision on a scenario. I want to take another decision on another scenario. So there are countless scenarios, and I can suffer from confirmation bias in some of those scenarios. How will you accumulate all this crazy data, amount of data from these organizations? Why will they give you this data? How will you categorize this data? So this is an insane amount of work. That's number one. Number one question from me. Number two is, you mentioned of creating a report for the stakeholders, which are the users of your system, like the policymakers, the bosses. You'll create reports from that data so that they can eliminate their confirmation bias. But my question or feedback to you guys is, they don't have the time to read these reports, to be honest. It's also a fact. I mean, I don't have time myself as the CEO of multiple companies to read a 500-page or 100-page or 50-page report. I don't have the time. So how do you tackle that? So 2 questions from me. Data sourcing, countless scenarios, and this report generation.
Yeah. Let me take the first one. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So thank you for your question, first of all. Like, yes, like, yeah, there are a lot of data, zillions of data, true, right? But what we're doing is we're sourcing data. Like I mentioned before, we're sourcing from World Bank data portal, right? ADBI, IMF, and those big organizations, and statistic bureau as well. So we are sourcing data from those places, their databases.
Sorry to interrupt you, Gaurav. What kind of data are you sourcing?
So like it's based on the scenario itself. Suppose we are, for example, we are working as a consultant for World Bank, suppose, for example, and they're working on some drinking water project, for example.
Okay.
So they need data related to those things, right? But so the data are available there based on those things. So it's based on scenarios.
Yeah, but my question was, Gaurav, are all these scenarios or are all this data publicly available for your system to scrape?
So
it's a valid question, right?
Yes, yes, exactly. Yes.
Anyway, no problem. So, okay, so that's my observation. No, don't worry. Your other 2 problem statements was excluding certain information to include more people. Yes, this is true. although it's a minor problem, your first problem was a really interesting big problem. This second problem was a bit minor. So, okay, it makes sense. Third problem statement that I have a problem with. So you mentioned of decisions should be short term in order to be effective. Why?
No. We are saying they end up making them short term. We are saying they should be more future proof.
Okay. So then I did not get that. Thank you for clarification. Yeah, cool. I don't have any other question.
You did have a second
Report.
question as well, Alpha, right? The report.
Reports. Yeah.
So I'll be honest, I have been in meetings where our CEO has talked to people who have provided reports to other external client companies, right? And the question has come up before. Why should the CEO of another company who is so extremely busy be what's the word for it? Why should they care about these reports? I think the approach we can take, which is something that we fall in deep thought a lot, is called Feynman method of thinking and basically explaining. It's basically you explain any topic in a way that even a 5-year-old would understand. So I think even though we would include all the data and all the process that we have gone through in the report, we've in the report, I think we would try to go with an approach where the important questions are answered in a simple manner first, with the correct examples, but the direct questions would be tackled first. So that the CEO or any stakeholder who's ever so extremely busy would not have to go through 500 different pages to come to a conclusion.
That's actually very interesting. Okay. So let's say you build this system, hypothetically, you build the system, you have a functional solution, software. And I log into the system. I am a user of the system. I tell the system that I want to take a decision on this scenario. And you have the data somehow collected from different sources, and it will give me advice that will help me take a decision without confirmation bias, right? Interesting. I mean, you guys are very techy. I mean, that you speak tech, like all these complex terms that I have never heard of. Is it actually possible? Can this be a real product? I mean, this sounds really interesting. If this is doable, that can be a tremendous product, but I'm talking about the engineering feasibility.
Right now, with this emergence of like deep learning, neural networks, and there's various big data processing system, I think to some extent it can be applied right now.
Personally, I think we might have to start small and then expand into areas where
it all depends on this processing capacity.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry, I have just one last question, guys, I promise. Why do we need this solution in the first place? We have ChatGPT. ChatGPT does exactly what you are proposing. So I can go to ChatGPT. I can just type in the scenario where I want to decide upon. It can advise me the same thing that your system will advise.
Advice?
Or help me decide without the bias.
Yeah, but if you want to be relevant, like timely, it won't, like, it just goes for 2020, right? If you want to come up with latest result, it won't be as useful as it should be.
Interesting.
There's so many like drawbacks as well for ChatGPT itself.
Yeah, No, thank you, guys. It's a very good debate. No more questions.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for your interesting questions. All right. So I think since we don't have any questions for this team specifically, I can ask the questions that were posed to the previous team. So I'll just go ahead with those very quickly. Yeah, so Prajesh asked a very interesting question. How does precision play a part in technology, or does it even play a part? So because you guys were mentioning about how AI can help make rigor builder more precise, right? So do you think it plays a role? And if it does, why? Just in general for technology models. I think this is also applicable to the other team for providing more accurate answers. So anyone can kind of try to connect it to their pitch.
Samita, can you repeat the question?
Yes, the question is, how does precision play a part in technology? So being precise with the answers, or being accurate, how is that playing a part? And plus what data you're getting, right? Is it precise? How is that playing a part? And yeah, that's basically the question. Is it playing a part?
Yeah, like the precision is like, okay, precision as in like minimizing error has always been a major issue, right? With all these models and everything. So yeah, but what happens is like, it depends on the model to model, right? Some model are 80% accurate. That means they are performing very well. Some models are 90% accurate, but you can say that, okay, this model is not that good. So it depends on model to model, and like the data itself as well, how clean the data is, how relevant the data is. So these all factors matters. And especially with AI, like I mentioned before, if you, for example, if we use ChatGPT itself, like if you give it a wrong prompt, it's going to give you wrong answer, right? Garbage in, garbage out. So that's going to be always the fundamental thing we have to take care of, I guess, regarding precision. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, I think it does. Thank you so much, Gaurav. Sir, would you like to go to the jury room to score the other team? Great. Shavan, please take over for
I think we can
reflections.
go with the reflection. Yeah.
And please pull sir into the jury room.
Yeah. Okay, guys, I think we can go ahead with the reflection. So, who would like to go in next? I mean, first for the reflection.
I would like to go for reflection. So
Sure.
I don't know if it's exactly a reflection or not, but I'm actually thinking ahead. And from up by listening to Tech Titans, I was thinking maybe in our product we could include AI as well. So in a way, the data collection, analyzing, processing, everything is going on, but at the same time, most of it is just being handled by the AI. At the same, the user would be able to connect with the with us through AI in a way, with our product through AI. So I feel like their technological model made me understand our technological model better. So
Interesting.
thank you, Tech Titans, for that.
Actually, I'm basing on that, Harshvardhan, that to improve our AI, like, if we are using AI for our prompts and the extension part of it, which is the future part. Currently, what we are running, rigor builder, majority builder, but for the future, if we are using AI, we can use your software for all the data to, uh, uh, to build up that knowledge, that information that needs to help for the prompts and everything. Is that possible?
Gaurav can take
Gaurav,
it ahead.
what do you think?
Sorry, can you come again, English?
So, as we were having discussion, we discussed that, to use AI in our model, we need a lot of data. can we use your software for that data?
So like our software has, like I told you, like it depends on, first what we're doing is we're trying to see the data itself, right? And based on that, we're creating the model. So that was the main framework of our model.
Yeah.
So
So
for you, yeah, for you, what will happen is like you also have the data in textual format, right? And we have you have the AI model itself. So yeah, we can create a model. So based on our framework, we can create a different model, right? Which can fine tune the AI itself and use your rigors and come up with better output. So it's all about fine tuning that thing. We'll use the same model, AI model that has already been trained on. We'll use your rigor as a data to fine tune that model itself. So it would be perfect for you guys as well.
So since we are using rigor builder, maturity builder now more than, I think it's been more than 7 months we are using these things, and we are seeing the outcome as well, that the client companies, they are coming up and saying that okay, when people are when employees are using these things, the results are better because they are thinking wide and they are questioning things. Their rework is low. So to use AI for the future, that of course, so that rigor will fine tune your data, and your data will help us to for the future extension the data, right, to learn things and give the prompts and everything.
Exactly. Like, yeah, we don't have to just rely on OpenAI, ChatGPT itself. There are thousands of large language models by now. So yeah, we can pick anyone that better suits our problem, right? And then we just have to fine tune those things. So we don't have to just rely on OpenAI. It's just popular, and like
Okay,
for ChatGPT.
sorry to interrupt. Sorry to interrupt. I think we are going on tangents. Let's stick to the reflection, right? So, yeah. Anyone else would like to go with the reflection? Any takeaways, any insights, anyone you would like to share?
Is everyone done with the reflections, Shravan?
Not everyone, but I think yeah.
All right. Okay. While the others are thinking about the reflections, I think Sir can go ahead with his feedback, right? We can get to the reflections after that. So, Sir, please, would you like to explain your scoring?
Sure. First of all, thank you so much for having me, for inviting me to this session. I actually enjoyed. I always enjoy battle of minds. I mean, the idea does not matter. How we tackle the idea and how we attack each other gracefully, that matters. So I really enjoyed that. And you guys are very smart. You guys are, I mean, these ideas are awesome. So my scores are almost same for both the teams. However, overall, Team Cleveland has 2 points more than the other team. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Tech Titans, but then again, I have my reasons. So let me explain the reason. So those 2 points where they actually are ahead of you is the elegance with which they held with their idea. I mean, they sounded like they believe in their idea. Again, idea does not matter. Idea can be stupid, but the way they presented is like they believe in that idea. Like they were like, okay, I mean, we'll do this data thing. It doesn't matter how. And the other area where you lost 1 point, Team Titan, is you actually could ask a lot of questions to them. Why didn't you? I mean, look at me. I actually asked more questions to them than you guys did. So you should have like destroyed them, but you did not. So these are the 2 areas, just two points difference. So Team Cleveland got 27 and Team Titans got 25. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sir, for going ahead with your feedback. Would you also like to go ahead with any reflections, any insights that you got from the session? Maybe some ideas.
yeah, all the problem statements that both teams shared are actually valid and are very good problem statements. For example, that productivity engagement concept that first team brought up on was actually very valid. I mean, when Hinglaj was explaining the problem statement, I was thinking about my company. I was thinking whether we could improve our productivity to some extent by arranging more engagement sessions or having a session like this between multiple teams, you know. So that's very good. For the other team, that confirmation bias thing is actually very valid. I mean, it's a really, really big problem. And in most companies, not just even companies, in real life as well, in family life as well, we often decide based on belief rather facts. We decide based on what we are taught, what we were taught, rather factually. So that's a really, really interesting problem to attack. So I know it's a fun session, it's a debate session, it's not going to be a real product, but then again, these are good problems to think of and find solution on. So thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, sir. I'd just like to add really quickly. So we don't do debates here. Debates is like, it's based on this assumption, right, that we have two very different points and the one team has to disprove what the other team is saying. That's why we have specifically named it dialogue, because it's more of two teams with different ideas or perspectives can come together to a common solution, right? So that's a little different from debate, and that's where the whole idea came up from.
I take back my word then. But it's a very nice concept, and I'll probably, that's something that I learned from you guys. So this type of engagement is helpful intellectually, you know, and all the people do not have to be in the same background. I mean, different people, like Samita, you said you're a psychologist, but you are playing a good role here. So not everyone has to be techie or something. Everyone can come together and add value to this conversation. So that's what I learned, and I'll probably try to implement this in my company as well.
Thank you so much, sir, for your insightful views. All right, so is there anyone, those who are left with the reflections, would you guys quickly like to go ahead and then we can end the session?
Yeah, I want to go ahead. I mean, the thing that sir said, the believing the idea. So we had some problem actually creating our pitch, but we still come up with in last 30 minutes. So, but we still lack the believing part. I'm not sure how and I mean why, because like I made the product, but still we lack this thing. So we have to improve on that.
Okay, thank you, Fardeen, for mentioning that. Any other reflections?
Yeah, I think I can go ahead, right? I think data was one of the crucial elements to the discussion, right? Like where we talk, I mean, both the teams we talked about data. So I think like one of the important questions that Sir asked was about how do you outsource the data, right? So I think data is available, but the right data, right, that we need. Actually, I think that's something that we can think about of how do we get it. So I think that's a valid problem statement we can think about. And secondly, right, like when we are thinking about AI, so AI as a scope is huge. Like there are various levels in the AI, right? So I think being more specific of the areas that we want to work on, I think that is really important, right? When we talked about, like for instance, right, the rigor builder, what is the exact component or the element of UI that you AI that you want to use, right? So being very specific about it and having a hold on it, right? That actually can help you in believing on your idea more. I think that's what one of the interesting insights I have observed basically, right? And I think, yeah, this would be my 2 points. I mean, especially that I wanted to mention. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shavan. Okay, I'll also quickly go ahead with two insights that I try to think of as well. So I think one of them, I kind of got to understand the importance of technology models again, because it's not just some kind of automation or a technological product, right? It's some kind of idea that you're coming up with to solve a problem, and you're putting it in a real world situation. So I think that's where the model part comes in, right? Whether it's actually feasible or not. Sir also asked a lot of questions. Okay, but is it actually possible to try out this product? Are you actually going to be getting all those different sources and get people interested in reading those reports? So technology specifically might not answer these questions, but a technological model, because it's looking at the entire framework of how it is possible, technological model could answer those questions as well, right? Second thing, I think we didn't go so much into the concept of technological models because our questions were mostly around technology. So again, that is something we can work on, right? It's some like we had a lot of assumptions for what a technological model is and how it's connected to technology. So like in the next dialogues, maybe we could like question a bit more about the underlying concept of technological model instead of just the product part. So yeah, those were, I think, my two insights. And I think with that, we come to the end of the Socratic dialogue. Thank you so much for both the teams. Thank you so much, sir, for all your interesting insights and questions. It was really a pleasure to have you here. And with this, I think we come to the end of the dialogue. Thank you, everyone, for joining in.
Thank you. Bye.